We apologize for starting just a tad minutes late because it's a rainy day in Lagos and you know how chaotic Lagos can be when it's raining. So on that note, I'm going to say hello, beautiful lovers of Jasiri. We're back once again to take you through the big conversation, trending stories and hottest gist. But before we dive into all that we have in store for you today, let's take a trip down memory lane. I'm talking about things from our childhood that no longer exist, but were a very big part of our upbringing. And we're so pained to see them go. I don't know why I'm taking this. I just see
personal.
It's sabotage. I can taste it.
How?
Yeah, only one person I can look at sitting on that enemy seat.
Hey, I'm just wondering. I want to see what the nostalgia is. You know, I want to see what the trip is.
I just felt betrayed. Like they were going to just say something.
Captain is not here.
Lolo, just stop in. This is your paranoia of
Yeah,
enemies
it's
pushing.
sure. One point on paranoid.
There's problem.
Oh, so because
She looks like she can fly today. She's
Why
calling you
did I do that?
paranoid.
after you didn't see all the witchcraft she did to stop us from starting early, you think I don't know you were throwing arrows?
Why would I do that?
But do you know that thing I said?
We said we're going down memory lane. Can we start down the lane?
Can we start going down
Start
this?
down the lane.
Okay.
Well, so let me start. So I remember cassette tapes. If you remember cassette tapes, and when you had to rewind the tape to make sure that you got to just the right parts that you wanted.
How about if you started there, I'll just go to JVC video player.
VHS.
My father had a notorious one that anytime he tells us not to play anything on it, and you end up playing it, the cassette, the video will
get stuck.
Get stuck.
Get
Do you know how
stuck
many
Then you have to
times
bring
I took
water from the fridge and put on top of it so that it can cool before it comes back from work.
I used to take them apart.
we
I would unscrew them. Yes.
Remove the
As
video.
notorious.
Yes.
So I think for me, growing up, I met videotapes. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I remember that we used it to build, because at that time it was no longer working. So we used it to build houses. Like, we just put it together and then, I made a castle.
This girl can be shady, Sha.
Very shady.
Very stylishly
She's just basically saying that we're home.
How about dial telephone?
Ooh, Ray J saw.
Oh
this.
my God! My father would lock it with a padlock, and we would tap the shege out.
I have a story about this tapping, right? So back in the day, of course, we had these dial telephones, and our bill used to be like, yes, right, it's what they call that thing, skyrocket high. So one day my dad comes back, he's like, he puts a lock on the phone and he goes, let me see who's smart in this.
Yes, and
he goes
it's
out.
tripled.
So my sister comes down, she comes down, she's like, she looks at him as he's going out and says, okay. So she picks up the phone and she just goes,
You just count the numbers
I said,
and
what
tap
are
the.
you doing? You can't make calls. She said, watch me. Next thing I know, she's talking to my cousin in Ibadan.
Yes.
One day she tapped America.
Yes.
So my father goes like, why is this bill still so high? I'm like, let's see who is this
Honestly, it happened to my father was so perplexed. Every time he doesn't leave it, he doesn't no, what you just do is the number. So if you're typing like 8, you have to tap 8, 0, you tap 10. You tap like Morse code.
Okay.
Yes.
So because even me, I was getting a bit confused. That was the blessings of that. My mom was this. My daughter saw it recently. She's like, "What's this?" I said, "Baby, it's
video
cold."
clubs. To go and borrow video tape.
Oh, yes.
Yes, what?
What do you remember?
I remember them borrowing. I was young, but I remember them borrowing, like rent. They want to rent
Yes,
the set.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I know that.
But those have gone out of. Those are the ones that really helped a lot of Nigerians with American movies, Bollywood movies, even Nollywood movies as well. What about sitcoms?
And we still
Sitcoms.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I think,
my own.
I think Nickelodeon helped me with that one.
What's Nickelodeon, for God's sake?
It's a
Gen Z.
channel.
Okay, so this girl can never know the days of what do you call the color code, the color bar on the TV.
This one can never.
She can never know.
Then we used to wait for TVs to come on at 4.
It was not 24 hours. There
It
was
wasn't
streaming.
24 hours, it's 4 o'clock.
Punishment.
It wasn't because
wasn't.
you went to school, you came back, you had your siesta, you had lunch, you had your lessons.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock the TV was on. So you could now watch your watch your program.
Whatever was coming.
And after 4,
black and white TV, Walkman, CD player, Game Boy, Nintendo, Tetris. What is it?
Oakley biscuits.
I know Akim Biscuit. I know that one. And I know
Keto sandals.
I know Goody Goody.
Okay. We can take that. Baba Dudu.
I know something.
Oh, that somebody was so sad.
So there was there it is. But it's not just this. There was the factory. A young man on social media actually went past the factory recently that houses Oki biscuits. And it was just like, this is just a big part of my childhood. And the whole factory is run down. You can still see boxes, probably either ready to go out or not. It was just really sad.
It is.
It's just a really sad thing.
It's something.
And if you did not mix bread cabin biscuits
inside
milk, you are not a person.
And milk.
So let me tell you,
I wanted to say Gary.
I didn't do it, but when I finally came out, I did the Oki biscuit and the butter, and I can tell you that's top notch. Well, I learned that one at university.
Well, sorry, blessings. I know a lot of things are over your head.
No, but I know
But it's
cabin
okay.
biscuit. I used to attend friends' birthday parties, and then they'll share cabin biscuit. And then if you didn't have money for cake, it's cabin biscuit and Coke and Fanta. I know all that.
Okay. I remember when they used to cut cake as cubes. At parties, you wait anxiously.
It's okay. You're showing too much age.
No,
Please, we need to go on a
catching up.
Before you clock our ages, we'll be back and we have a fantastic conversation with you. Of course, as demolitions in Lagos have been under the spotlight, we're bringing in somebody who, of course, will have some answers to our questions. Welcome back. We're streaming live on our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. Use the hashtag Jasiri to be part of our conversations. Now, in recent months, we've witnessed a surge of demolitions of illegal buildings across various communities in Lagos. The impact of these demolitions has been felt by countless residents, sparking outcry and raising questions about urban development policies and practices. From luxury houses to modest homes, no property seems immune to the demolition drive. The consequences are far-reaching, affecting not just the physical structure, but also lives and livelihoods of those affected. Now, yesterday we touched on this topic briefly, and today we have a guest who will shed more light on this matter. Joining us is the Special Advisor to the Lagos Governor on Environment, Honorable Olakunle Rotimi-Akodu. Welcome to Jasiri, Honorable.
Welcome, sir.
And thank you for your patience.
So, Honorable, I would like to start off with asking, the recent demolitions have sparked, considerable controversy, as we've heard. It's also raised questions about the process involved. You hear, we did not know that the building was going to be demolished. We did not have notice. Some people will say they told us, but they did not give us enough notice to be able to clear out. Can you explain the criteria used to identify how you mark this building as illegal and mark for demolition?
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me, and good morning, everyone. Now, straight away, there's nothing hidden about it. The state has a master plan, a drainage master plan. There's this prediction that in the next 50 years, now 30 years, that Lagos will sink, go under the water. So we don't have to wait behind and allow these things happen, except we're saying we don't believe, those predictions or those, postulations. So what happened is we have drainage master plan in place. And over the years, those things had been messed up. People had gone on it, they built on it, and without consequences, they believe no consequences. And they've taken up all the right of way of these drainages. We have three categories. Let me just explain that so that when I start mentioning you. Now we have the primary drainage, which is what we call canal. Mm-hmm. Most of those things occur naturally. These are terrain pathways of water
that lead to the sea,
into the lake, into the major water bodies from the various catchments. So it's existing. Usually those paths, those drainage channels were used for boating, for fishing, for crisscrossing the state by the elderly, the grandfathers, the grandparents in the past. So they take boats on it, so these things are natural ways that nature has designed to take waters from places back into and that's why you could have, dry land in some places. So that's natural. Then we have, that's primary. Then we have the secondary, which we call collectors. So what's the function of this secondary or collector drainages? I'll tell you. We have the tertiary. The tertiary are the ones in front of our, houses, streets, that collects wastewater from the houses and, you understand, used waters. So between the canals that are meant to take the water back to the major water body and the ones we use in the houses, we use the secondary to connect. So all the tertiary, volumes coming will be gathered in the secondary. All the tertiary volumes coming will be gathered in the secondary. That now takes it into the primary.
And then further on.
And empty it into the water body. So what we do is that this tertiary now, we construct it in such a way that we are mindful of the gradient so that there will be flow, easy flow. You understand? So the primary and the secondary, which is the canal and the collectors, are in the purview of the state government, while the tertiary, the ones on the streets, were left to the local governments to clean, to handle.
Okay. So, as Buki has said, there's also the issue of lack of information or lack of prior notice, right? The residents who were affected have decried the lack of notice before demolitions are done, and they even decried the lack of alternative provisions as well after the fact. For example, in Otoilobo extension of Ebutemeta, the chairman of Lagos Mainland Local Government, Rashidat SCN, and the director of public affairs, Lagos State Building Control Agency, Olusegun Olaoye, claimed that they were not involved. And these are government officials. So how is that possible that even government officials do not know?
All right, thank you. To say they were not
informed,
I will not agree to that. There's no action we take from the state level that we had not consulted, we had not engaged severally before proceeding to that point of, we don't demolish. When you talk about demolition, that's to physical planning. All we do is to remove contraventions, obstructions on the pathway of the waters.
Even if they're homes and houses,
whatever it is,
as long as there's an obstruction in that pathway.
So far is obstructing the pathway of that water, we remove. So demolition is in the purview of Ministry of Physical Planning. You understand? Those are the ones that have the power to demolish. What we can do is to remove because we want to get the waters flowing unhindered at any level, at any rate. So to say they are not in the know, most of the time, before we get to that stage, they would have been served notices, you understand, contravention notices, and they would have been told what to do. Often than not, they come to our office. We invite them. Because what we do the first service, we'll do the second service.
I was just going to ask you to add to that because we really need to know that what is the process so that even people watching, they can know that how does the government, address the concerns of these homeowners
what is
claim they
affecting our
had no
people is that
priorities?
maybe for a long time they've not seen enforcement at this level or government taking it this serious. You understand? All they get to hear is that they will just talk, they won't come. And as over time, people have gotten used to that. They don't care. They are not bothered. They will continue to do what they were doing, which we can no longer take. It's messing up the state. So there's no point in time, or there is no removal that we do, that we don't engage. We engage them, we bring them to our offices. Some may want to argue at first from their various localities, but when they get to our offices, we take them to our conference room, we play the drone, they see the extent of contravention, and they too agree. They always agree. No one has been in our office and say, no, you guys are wrong. They come there, once we play the drone and the imagery and everything, they just surrender. The next thing they tell you is that, please, how can you help us?
Which is taking us to our next question.
Yes, so the issue of compensation is important, but you see, when he talked about you don't demolish, you remove obstructions.
Yes, you remove.
So it's partial demolition in some cases.
Well, if you call it demolition.
It's partial
Yes,
partial demolition in some cases.
On our
which
whether it's a concrete whether it's metal,
Whether it's
whether it's
wood,
earth, whether it's a falling tree, our own is we just remove so that water can flow.
And so when you do this partial demolition, sir, you then leave, of course, the buildings then become either unstable or they're left vulnerable or something, and then of course the whole thing has to come down. So when you talk about compensation, before we get to the point of a whole building or half a building or a quarter of a building, whatever it is, there are obviously processes that have to follow through. I even know that when you're even taking down, in some places, when you even want to do what you call a renovation, boys will show up, people will show up and say, what are you doing here? So it seems a bit mind-boggling to think that, someone has built an entire building, sometimes rows of building on top of these drainage systems without any stoppage in between, and they've allowed it to carry on until the completion, and then everything has to come down. I want you to respond to that, but then I also want you to respond to the area of compensation as well. How do they get compensated?
Are they entitled?
Are they entitled to compensation? I think that's even a better question to ask.
That's the thorny part of compensation.
Yes.
Are they entitled?
Yes.
Look, ordinarily, they should even compensate government for bringing resources to remove those contraventions, those blockages. They are to pay government. It's just that it's only in this country. Ordinarily, what they have done, they should have been, called in and issued tickets for payment, because we're spending millions bringing down those structures. Millions. So on top of that, look, when you talk about people are used to compensation in this, asking for compensation in this climate. There's a space, you just came in. You never bother to inquire, about the space, and you brought in your own interest, superimpose it on that space. And now, government now says, move. We want to use it. This place was left for a purpose. I want to go back to that purpose. They are now saying, compensate me. Somebody somewhere from interland, from other states, they are thinking of migrating or coming into Lagos now. And they find it easy. I just go to Lagos now. Once you get a pan or whatever, build something somewhere, be staying there now, just lay your head. You see, no one has really bothered to ask, where are you coming from? What is your plan? Where is the approval for you to utilize this place for that purpose?
But what agency is responsible for that?
Thank you. More often, you get them served notices. At the time, we were working in Lake Ikota, and people started shouting, you're demolishing beautiful buildings. Now, my ministry went as far back as year 2000 to play the drone and copies of notices when that place was mere, water-logged space, and they were sand filling. And they went to them and showed them that, look, this place was left for a purpose. Don't progress on this project.
Wow.
But what you get them saying is that, don't worry, once we leave the place, they will go and settle.
Well,
Anybody go back?
So on that comes to
and that
monetary
is what-
enforcement. Because
Yes.
we're talking about buildings that are 2 stories, 1 story,
Yeah.
4
3
stories.
stories.
You talked about a master plan. So I know for the Lagos
Guess what we
mainland,
do?
there's a
Guess what we do
Sorry, let
before
me
you go
ask.
ahead.
There's a
In my
Lagos
ministry,
mainland-
1 second, please.
Okay.
In my ministry, if the part of the structure that encroaches our own right of way is just 10% of the building, or like you have 10 rooms, only 2 came on our right of way,
You will take only.
we'll just remove the 2. And
No, my mom was telling me
there has been cases that people will now go and mend whatever is left. Yes.
my mom was telling me.
So that's why I'm saying we are not demolishing.
Okay, so
Remove
you talked about a master.
Well, that's grammar.
Tomato. So you talked about a master plan. So there's the Lagos Mainland Central Model City Plan that's going to run from 2013 to 2025.
Yeah.
There's the Lagos Urban Regeneration Project as well,
Yes.
which is meant to address vulnerabilities for flooding, inadequacy of water, sanitation, and all that. But you talk about the fact that you have footage, you have documentation that shows land, sand filling, and the process. We're coming back to a point that Buki asked, which is about monitoring and enforcement. It simply is not enough to serve notice, obviously. You turn around and you go. But my bigger question is this, and I believe that there are people inside the agencies
that are giving people the audacity to build.
And enabling.
Because
I'll
all
come
of
to- I'll
this
speak
cannot
to
go
that.
up without somebody in the agency
I'll speak
knowing.
to that. I'll speak to that.
So please tell
Look,
us.
at the end of the day, we're all Nigerians.
Yes.
You understand? And we have our ways. Nigerians are praising in, you know, bad attitude, thinking I can get away with whatever, and wanting to do that which appeals to them alone, not considering the bigger picture. It's true, we have officials in place to check all of those things. Once they play their own role, you understand? Because look at the rate at which people are coming into Lagos, the speed at which development is, you know, coming up from here and there.
Yeah.
Sincerely, we don't have enough officials to be there at all the time. So, and that speaks to the fact that at the end of the day, we now partner with other, you know, bodies to monitor, to join us in monitoring and giving information of those things that we don't want to happen. Once they are happening there, they will get our officials informed and they will move in there quickly. So the rate at which Lagos is developing the population density, you know, is something that is alarming, and you wonder, how do we cope? So at most, there are instances that what we can do immediately is, once we get information that so thing is coming up there and it ought not to, so they quickly go and inspect, meet with those that are, you know, doing that, then explain to them, don't do it. A project is coming here. So project will be cited there sometimes in the future. Don't do it. Then to substantiate or to corroborate that contact or discussion, they issue contravention notice and give it to them. So it's not in all cases that we can immediately demolish, or you use the word demolish this,
remove.
because in all times. Look, many of these infrastructures, government have seen the need to have it there, but the cash is not there to fund it yet. So there are places, you have places that appears to be bush today. We have plans for the whole place, where drainages will follow, either tertiary, primary, second, they will follow. The government cannot go there immediately now.
So they leave the land.
So, but if you look at the plan of that area, the approval they got, the CFO, the governor consent, all these things are contained.
But sir, have you not had some very exceptional circumstances where people actually have some sort of documentation?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
So you say everybody
All the removals we've done, we have
no
asked them, no documentation,
proof.
come with the proof. And that is when we can start speaking of compensation.
So my thing is, how often does
How
it
would-
happen that you inspect these places? Because you just said that some of these buildings are for future.
I'm telling you,
spaces, the areas.
the spaces.
Yes, so
for future
the
use.
area, yes. So
There's
how
none
often?
of, you will not find any of those places where our infrastructures had been planned to be, that you're coming on top of it, that you know, because we have officers in charge of the region, in charge of the zones, and we have non-civil servants that were engaged to even go into the bushes to get feedback from them. Okay, tell us what is happening. So immediately they you know, they will get something for the information. So they are eager to get good reports that will be useful. So immediately they come, our people will move there to stop whatever they are doing. Now, moving there may not require coming with tractors, you know, hard moving equipment and things like that. No. They will come, engage, and discuss. But you know what? These people don't want to believe. They say, leave them. We'll rather settle. It is true, they are human beings, and that's why I say at the end of the day, we're all Nigerians.
But sir,
We don't have angels in offices.
yes, but sir,
Some people have financial pressures.
I was
agree.
just going to say-
You might approach them, and I haven't told you the truth. You feel you can stay the course,
Yes.
no problem. Someone that has school fees to pay, and you are tempting that person. I haven't told you the truth. They are now tempting that person with money.
person will
He
collect
told
the
you-
money.
It's not what we are aware of. It's not what we have as in hard evidence
I
about.
was just going to
But
ask,
obviously,
sir.
we are Nigerians.
Yes.
These people, they have done their own job. They've given you the notice, verbally and written. Don't do it. So whoever you are now going to lobby within the system to look away, it will only last a while. So, and people are, and the good thing is that we are
And
the
they might be
phase
moved.
where people are learning. Lagos is taking that lead. People are beginning to learn that. Look, before anybody puts anything, when they see beautiful edifice, I have not built that kind of house. So I will not be happy to bring it down. But in the interest of the bigger picture and the general good, or for majority, well, I may have to look away.
You know, when you talk about the interest of the general good, it's interesting that today it has rained this morning. Lolo was talking about flooding in some areas, and I do understand when you look at the terrain, there are places in Lagos that are floodplains. They will hold water, and as you said, then take it into the lagoon and into the sea and the ocean. What are the plans? Because the rates you're moving on the places you say are need to be removed because the obstacles is not going to be as fast as this rainy season that is catching up with us. And let me land. And what we found is that you might build here and you're okay, but further down the road, in all honesty, you've created an issue for other people. So what's the plan? What's
Issue
the
as
process?
in, can you please?
It's flooding. Somewhere else that it should have been a thoroughfare, the water is going, water is backing up somewhere else, so other people are now being affected because you built somewhere. So what's the plan? We're entering rainy season, very obviously. What's the plan?
Everywhere that we have cleared. Look at, let me start with Ikota. We started from Ikota. It has been awarded, and the contractor is on site now, working. You know, if you go there, you see that he has excavated, he has opened up, you know, to the accepted width for the canal, and he has taken the setback. You understand? So before you know it now, you start with the concrete lining of that canal. This is, we don't want to, there are so many infractions that if we have to like go on all of them at once, we may not have the capacity to do the needful.
To remove.
And once we remove, we need to also line and bring it to standard. So there are so many ways we're giving them notices till now that we are coming. Don't develop anything there again.
Do you want to mention any places since you've served notice?
So many
So that
places.
they will not say they didn't say.
Even that one, we serve them notices and they continue to build.
Yeah.
You understand? When we invited them to the office, they saw that they should have, there's the master plan, they saw that whole space. You know, in Lagos now, nobody wants to sell any space. You start approaching agencies, offices, asking that, I saw one space, so can I use it for? And once you tell them the truth, don't go there. They'll go and look for another person. That can repackage them and say, look, you understand? So, so we keep serving them.
Even under
The Okafa people went to court to stop us. And they lost in the court, and we moved in immediately.
So that's okay, fine. Where else?
We have so many places. Ibejuleki. That's another issue.
Ibejuleki.
What you are seeing there, what the demolition, as I want to be using your word, the removal that they are showing, Odoyalaro. Odoyalaro ordinarily is 140 meters. You know what 140 meters is? Imagine running 100 meters in primary school. Now add another almost half of it, and now put it like a pathway for the water. That is meant to take away, I can't tell you the volume. So no matter the downpour, no matter the precipitation, it should go. So less than a minute. Now, because these people have been going there, and over 4 years now, I have record of service to people on that alignment, that they shouldn't develop houses or whatever there.
On that. But sir,
now I'm coming. They did. They went back and served them. We have records. You know, we don't do things without records.
I wanted to just speak on that records, because if you do the good, if you do the honorable thing of serving, you know, sometimes, because I'm a lawyer, sometimes when you serve and the person is not there to receive it, they say serve the last known address. Like some of these people that come out to scream and say the government and demonize the government. How about when maybe they take another approach? Like when places are served, it's put out in the media. Like these places, or in the papers.
Let me give you an
so
instance.
they will not be able to run away.
Let me quickly move away from environment. Let me go to physical planning. There were distressed houses, structures that LAPCA had served You understand? Served like 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago on Lagos Island. You know, we had an infamous case of fire.
It's been
outbreak.
too often.
And the firefighters couldn't access, you know, the streets because of attachments and things like that. And at the heat of the fire, I want my own shop safe first. You want yours. So the firefighters, as they are coming, these ones are dragging them. These ones are dragging them. Come like this, and not just dragging, threatening them, carrying weapon. If you go there, I will smash your brain. I have millions of goods. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of distraction. So they could not just immediately access that place. Now, Mr. Governor has, you know, stepped in, and the checklist for corrections and henceforth, you know, had been given, and we're working on that. Attachments removed and all of that. Now, it is only now that LAPCA could assess all the buildings they marked for demolition. It's now they could assess it, and people are already protesting. It's only the fire area. Now we have opened up the road. They could now assess it. But when they are arguing and challenging government, we brought out the newspapers where those addresses were published.
Published.
That these houses are distressed and they have to go down. You understand? So there's hardly a thing that we do that we don't publish it. If they want to see it, we will show them. You know, they come to our office. These Odoyalaro people, we held meetings with them more than around about 2-3 times. That they came to the office as a group because they saw the notices, and we told them to come over. When they came, even the honorable member representing that constituency, they had to bring him to speak to their interests so that we can move away and not do anything there. At the end of the day, my honorable brother realized that this project had to go on because it's about the bigger picture. You get it? And when they came, it's rather than picking 140 meters, as in right of way, that's we have the canal, then you have a setback this way, you have another setback this way. So the canal will be 100 meters, 20 meters, 20 meters. That's 140 effectively. So we had to like compromise to give a human face, to reduce the number of removers. So what we did is to bring it to 110. So we made the canal 80 and 15.
15 on the side.
You get it?
So
it's not like we are not compromising.
Yes.
Yes, but there's a minimum we can go if we have the interest of the state at heart.
Okay, so you mentioned that some people run to, you know, agents and all that. Let's be honest, some individuals fall prey to agents who just want to make money, right? There's some people
This
who
will afford them
not.
the opportunity to know the right
Yeah,
thing
so
to do.
that's what I was going to ask. What is the measure to educate these people? Because some people don't know the right documentations they have. A lot of people just depend on the agents, and then when times like this come, they now start arguing that, oh, my agent said, whereas it's wrong information.
Thank you. So it's simple. When you seek information, you are getting empowered. You understand? Now, all you just need to do, you have interest in this space. Call a surveyor to pick the coordinates. You understand? Take it to Surveyor General. They will tell you, you get land information. You will get what that place is meant for.
And this is
If it's
everybody.
Everybody.
It's open
Everybody and
Yes, it
anybody.
is.
Once you get there, they don't
do land
shut the door
searches.
at people. Once you get there, you do the search, you confirm. You leave Surveyor General, go to lands. You understand? So once you go through this route, where people prefer to lay back and look for one quack, is in every way. If you want to buy ordinary, what are those things I want to buy that will need some agent? Just we want to do something in court. You see that our people will park outside. Affidavit, thank you. They will park outside and look for a middle person.
Yeah.
Something that you would do for like, say, 100 naira, 200 naira, they now collect 2,000, 3,000. All you just need to do, type it, take it inside, 15 naira, they stamp it for you, you are done. But people don't want to go and face the right authority. They lay behind and look for somebody that will go and do it for them and just give them the money and go. So this habit of our people is really affecting, is the cause of most of these issues.
That is because it might be tedious.
It's not.
And somebody might be asking for something under the table.
But unknown to them, that guy you've paid has collected more than what anybody inside will have. So just dare it, step in, take a knock, enter. please, this is what I want to do. Can you guide me on how to go? Don't patronize touts and all those. They will end up, exploiting you, and they will still leave you in a mess.
So, because time is not with us, I think there's a lot more. As you mentioned touts now, I know Lagos State is dealing with that, but particularly for you in terms of the environment, I mentioned rainy season. Sorry. I mentioned rainy season, clearing the drainage systems as well. We see an urban regeneration project, and we see attempts by Lagos State to keep green space, to keep some spaces for the environment. As we're moving forward into 2024 and further along, what plans does your ministry have in terms of making sure that we do this the right way? And it's good to hear there's a human face to it, but every situation will not work out that other way. You will not be able to come and give them some space in the canal.
The problem that we have is that most of the areas are built up. So if you have to go take the full stretch of what you deserve or what you wish to do, you are going to impact badly on too many people. So there's hardly, when you talk about canal, it's like football field. You have the minimum size, you have the maximum size. So what we do is that it's not like we're violating the standard, but it's just that we're cutting down on the size, not going below the minimum. You understand? And often, in most cases, we don't even get to the minimum. You understand? We just find somewhere in the middle so that we reduce the number of people that will be impacted. You understand? And when you talk about green spaces, we're doing a lot. And Mr. Governor is really interested in, he has interest in
greening
Lagos. If you look at Ijora, we've got to clear Ijora.
Yeah, that was the outcry last week.
So we've got to clear Ijora. We've cleared Obalende.
That Obalende, how did you do that, Obalende? Because I passed Obalende a lot when I was still in Federal Radio Corporation. That was our alley. Because Obalende was like a commercial center. But I went there like 2 years ago, and I found out that he's now completely a boss, a moving out. Was that
the essence
achievable?
of clearing that place, we don't want to see any commercial vehicle on the road, turning the road to parking garages and all of those, loading, calling people. Obalende is a gateway into Ikoyi. It's a gateway into VI. And Obalende more or less connects the eastern part of Lagos, going to Bejuleki. So it's a gateway, location area. So it's not a place that we should joke with. It's not a place that we should look away from. You understand? We have to ensure that we get the right thing done there. Before Governor Fashola left, he did, when you are ascending from Obalende roundabout, ascending Third Mainland Bridge, the space just by your left, at the foot of that bridge, ascending. He made sure that all those things were corrected, and he turned that place to a beautiful, a flower bed space, and people were coming to take pictures. Abroadians are people or the diasporans will come and tell you that is this Lagos, that they can't believe Lagos can become what it is, what they are saying. They branch in that place, they just go in, they take a branch and snap pictures and send it abroad. Can you believe this is Lagos? So how come we drop the ball? How come we? I'm
happy you can acknowledge that the ball was dropped.
Yes. We can appreciate that there is a plan. We can appreciate that there is a master plan for the way Lagos
should look.
And we can see how even other states are kind of
copying,
trying to
catch up.
And what the government is doing now is to go back to that focus and ensure that we no longer drop the ball. And people are coming into Lagos every day, and they're coming with their various lifestyles and standard. And sometimes the standard they're coming with is more like mediocrity. Somebody that wants
they met.
Somebody that believes just peeing there will not harm you. It's on the road. I want to pee. Let me quickly use here. Because where he's coming from is all those places are bushes. You only need to take 1 or 2 steps and do the thing. And he's coming into Lagos, he wants to come with that attitude. 1, 2, let me do it here. If there's no space, see car. Let me stand beside the car. I'm coming here this morning on the bridge. I saw a guy. He sat. I was pooing. But I see that often. And I was like, It pained me to my heart, but I don't want to run late, one.
Yeah.
And it was just per my driver said, okay, no problem. Because of to curb that wrongdoing, we created a body against the open defecation. You understand?
I can give you a few locations.
Yeah.
There are plenty.
There are plenty.
Let's share the
And
locations.
Lagos State has been, there've been a lot of
most of the foot
reinforcement.
of the bridge I spoke about just now. We have them stationed there and along the bridges and some places. But I know there are still so many places we need to cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
And particularly this new beggar area is a mess. And Mr. Governor is so perturbed about that. And he's talking about, placing so many public convenience, toilets and baths.
Honorable.
The last time we spoke, he was serious about it, that these things should go out now.
Oh, wow. As I see.
Honorable, there's no time, but what we've seen is we're ending into another conversation now. So we will be taking your promise that you'll be joining us sometime soon again.
No
to
problem.
talk
And let me just add this.
very quickly, please.
The Odo Yala road that you see us clearing is going to serve dual function. When we fix that canal, this setback will be used as road. We're doing bridge.
Yeah.
The bridge is coming.
Yes.
And that bridge, the intention when it gets to Ojota, we still want to take it to Third Mainland.
Oh.
So we're already being futuristic. That's why we need those spaces. And apart from the bridge, we need that walkway to do about 2-3 lanes where people too can,
Commute.
So it's about taking Lagos to the next level.
And that will be the next conversation. We have to say a very big thank you so much to Honorable Olakunle Rotimi-Akodu, who's the Special Advisor to the Lagos Governor on Environment. Thank you also so much for joining us. There are more conversations we need to have, but we really needed to expand on this conversation with the Honorable in the studio with us tomorrow. Today, that is. Tomorrow is 10 a.m. West African time. We have more conversations, hot gist, biggest stories, all of it right here for you.